Alright folks, welcome to another video on the channel. This is a bit of a celebration of FM18. Release day is today. And new game, new tactics, new systems. That's what everybody seems to go for. I remember the days when you could just play the diamond, 4-1-2-1-2, and you'd have happy glory days. Julio Arca on the left-hand side, Junior Stanislas on the right, or something like that, and you used to be golden. Not these days. There's so many more roles, so many more instructions, and it just seems that you're going to need a new system every time. If you've watched my full Johan beta save, that's coming to an end today. So do check that out. If you haven't watched any at all, make sure you go back and watch a few. We struggled at the start because I was trying and chopping, changing systems. The board don't like that, so avoid doing that. That's my first tip with your system. If you are struggling to adapt to a system, pick one and stay with it. That's important. You need familiarity to get going. We swapped to this system around late November, early December. So the 20 Manchester City fixture, and you can see that some iffy results. I thought we were going to lose the job, but after the change of system, we really did kick on. We knocked out Milan and Bilbao in Europe and pushed Lyon all the way. So that proves to me that the system is pretty good. I think it's worthwhile consideration. So if you are completely looking for a different system, a new system, give this one a go and let me know what it does for you. It may not work, but I think it should. So what does it rely on? Obviously, it's a 4-2-3-1. You've probably tried a variant of this. You're probably using it now in terms of the positionings and the player layout. But in terms of the style, it's basically set up for two systems. So it's a standard and very fluid for your home games or when you're probably strong favourites to win. And for your more cautious fixtures, you're going to want to go with a counter-flexible style. There are a few opposite team instruction differences, but otherwise they're effectively the same system. So what do you have? You have a goalkeeper. We stick with the goalkeeper. We're not going goalkeeperless. There's no tomfoolery here. But what in front of them have we got? We've got ball-playing defenders on defend. They are basically responsible for starting a lot of your attacks, as you'll notice. And the inverted wing-backs are absolutely key. They need to be good, they need to be mobile, and they need to be able to pass, because you'll find that they'll find themselves in central midfield so often that they effectively form a four-man midfield behind your four-man attack. And in midfield, to accompany them, we have a deep-line playmaker on defend and a box-to-box on support. And they're the fulcrum, especially that deep line playmaker. We had Schürrle there so many times, and he basically is responsible. He's almost a bit more box to box. You'll see him forward back, and he's transitioning the play and he's breaking up that attacking play from the opposition. So you need while you've got a box to box, your deep line playmaker needs to be pretty good at tackling as well, because he's going to be the one. I mean, height's probably going to be an advantage as well for that aerial bombardment that's sure to come your way eventually. So yeah, focus on those areas. The two central midfielders are absolutely vital. And then you've got inside forwards and an attacking midfielder on attack. So essentially what you've got there is any kind of winger inside forward. You know, there's so many of them these days that you're going to be spoiled for choice at any level in general. What you have got a problem with probably is I've only ever really used this system with a centre forward, a complete forward on support. If you're doing really low level, I think complete forwards are a bit of a struggle to find, so you may be able to adapt it and use a different role. Do let me know if you manage to succeed in that regard, but it may be worth persevering anyway. We used Dolberg there and he got 30 goals and 16 assists. Some of those were pre-using the system, but the majority were not, so I think it proves that it works. So the Dolberg's pretty good, so yeah. Opposition instructions, we can't see them. We'll show the players instead. There we go, that's what we wanted to see. So opposition instructions, essentially anyone wide, you want to be marking them tightly to make sure they get away. Because you are so narrow, which you'll see on the instructions in a minute, the actual team instructions, we need to make sure that we're always tight marking on those wide players. And that basically negates the idea of playing wide. It sort of gives a balance of play. So although we're playing very narrow, we're focusing our attacks down the middle, a lot of our goals and a lot of our protection comes out wide. We also close down the strikers, that's just common sense, and we show onto the weaker foot all the players that are going to cause us damage. So that's the wide players who can cross the ball and the strikers who can shoot. So in terms of the match instructions, home system, as I say, standard and very fluid. I couldn't see the option. Standard and very fluid. So what is it? It's essentially pretty default, really. You can see how narrow it is, though. The width is narrow. We're not playing the ball wide, but we do get a lot of goals from out wide. A lot of our goals come from crossing. We use the tighter marking system, and we close down a lot. Defensive line is normal, and we're always moving the ball out to the flanks. We're exploiting the flanks, even though we're playing narrow, and that's because our inside forwards really get pushed up, and that forces our inside forwards to spread wide. So very often you'll find those players out wide. So it does work, even though you'd think it wouldn't. How can you play narrow and exploit the flanks? Give it a go. It does work, I promise you. Look at my results. Look for the overlap. Again, that's those fullbacks pushing on. They'll push on, and because they're in a central area, you sort of overload the midfield of the opposition generally, and that's what you get from it. Mixed crosses as well, so again, you might find that you get more benefit depending on your man in the middle. Maybe it's better to float the crosses. I go with mixed crosses because, again, there's so many players who are flooding into the box. Sometimes it's good to have that option at the back post rather than we're trying to whip it across. So do give them a go. In terms of the away system, it's slightly different. We drop a little bit deeper. We do get stuck in as well. We need to rough up the opposition, and we don't exploit the flanks. We actually allow the ball to the play to develop naturally, and we pass the ball into space a bit more. So we're actually looking for that counter system. If you think when you're playing on a counter system, obviously players are going to be rushing forward, so playing the ball into space isn't a bad idea. We ask the players to be more disciplined and to actually run at the defence. So there's less risk involved in the counter system. And again, it's perfect for those away games, I think, when you're probably not expected to win. So there's European away games, or that away game against title-topping Crew Alexandra might be in League Two. So I think it's a good system. And what you want to do with your match preparation is, once you're familiar, probably move to defence positioning. And that, again, helps you to reduce the amount of goals that you've conceded. If we look at the goals that we conceded since we changed to the system, we pretty much, there's a few games where we conceded a few. There is the occasional unlucky game, but this is Ajax. We don't have a world-class team. If you have a world-class team, I think this is only going to be even stronger. But you can see there's big runs of games where we hardly concede any goals. And even when you concede a few there, we conceded 3 to Zwolle. We were back on form in the next couple of games. We conceded 1, 0-0, then 3 again, but then only a couple of goals. So this tactic is not an invincible tactic. No. And you're going to have to work with it. You're going to have to develop it, in my opinion. You're going to have to build your team around the system and change anything that doesn't perhaps suit. But I would definitely give this a go. And don't forget to change your set piece instructions to maximise the benefit of set pieces, corners, free kicks, etc., and also update your defending of those situations as well, because the defaults are probably not what you want. So do give it a go. Let me know how you get on with the system, and let me know if you're using a better system. I'm always keen to try out different styles when mine crumble around me, when new updates are released and your tactic crumbles. Yeah. So yeah, do let me know, and do pop a like on the video if you enjoyed, and if you get one win, pop a like on there for me and let me know if you're using this system. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.